In this episode, I'm going to talk to you very candidly about how I became the woman of my dreams. Side note, I'm still becoming. I don't think we ever stop, but I want to share this with you to help you level up in 2023. So by the end of this episode, you're going to have strategic things that you can use from my own lessons in life and things that I share with my clients in my coaching business Dream Life Academy, as well as in my career as a psychologist, to help you become the woman of your dreams. So it may be the case that you have big goals, or you're ready for a change, or you know that you can be better and you're ready to step into that next level of yourself. If that is the case, then this video is for you. So let's jump right in. Well, one of my purposes in life is to elevate consciousness, and I truly believe in examining my own life and personal development and elevating my consciousness to become a better person. Definitely don't believe I'll ever be in a completion phase, right? It's all about that journey, but I'm definitely have become the woman of my dreams, a woman that I've always dreamed about. If you've watched my channel, you know I've manifested things like my career, book deals, my husband, my babies, my businesses. So I've really done a lot of conscious work to develop a manifestation mindset when it comes to becoming who I want to be. So very quickly, let me just start by telling you where I was before I became this woman that I am today. I would say in my early 20s to maybe mid 20s, I was definitely a broke, burned out hustler looking for love in all the wrong places. I was constantly burning out. I was in grad school working multiple jobs, also modeling, many toxic relationships, healing from trauma. About my mid 20s that I really honed in and started to take my personal development seriously. So I've always been a spiritual person. I've always been a quote unquote conscious person, but it was in my mid to late 20s that I really started to hunker down and to change and start the process of becoming who I am today that I'm really, really proud of. This was the time that I started my master's in clinical psychology before I got my PhD. I also went to school to become a certified yoga and meditation teacher. I also took a deep dive into manifestation strategies and really focused on improving myself and really dialing in on what did I want my life to be and how was I going to level up as a person to match that energy of what I wanted for myself. Number one was I stopped desperately seeking love and validation, but I started the process of letting go of this toxic need to allow relationships to validate me. I felt like before this period in my life, I was always desperately wanting to be in a relationship. In my video on how I manifested my husband, I talk about how letting that go was a key factor in actually attracting my husband. I started celebrating the love that was in my life from my family and my girlfriends, and I stopped buying into this negative belief that I needed a relationship to be happy, because that belief was causing me to be in some really toxic relationships. So I really let go of that desperate need that a relationship is going to validate me. Number two was I came out of financial denial. This was probably later in the process of becoming, maybe late 20s, where I really took a hard look at my finances, my student loan debt, my credit card debt. I took a deep dive into what was really the situation. Up until that point, I was just grinding and hustling, just getting by. I got a look at my credit, which was like very shame-provoking, but I faced those fears and got that under control, got debt-free, took a look at how I was going to come up with a plan for my student loans. My husband and I, we also did the Dave Ramsey Financial Freedom. Of course, a very crucial piece in becoming the woman of my dreams was coming out of that financial denial, and the first step in that process was taking a good look at the financial picture and situation of my life at that time, because you got to know where you're starting and you got to face some of those underlying emotional things that are keeping you from looking at it, like feelings of shame and guilt. Process those things and move on and get to that next point where you want to be, which for me now, I have no credit card debt, our house of our dreams. I'm living that life that I always wanted, but it started with looking at some really ugly stuff that I didn't want to face. The third thing that I did to become the woman of my dreams and level up was to let go of things that didn't serve me. There was this quote Dr. Amen said, "Why do you continue to put things inside of you that don't treat you well?" And it's kind of like letting go of those toxic relationships. I let go of things like drinking alcohol in excess. I let go of situationships of men that I knew didn't deserve me. You know, nothing against them, but the way they were treating me was not they didn't deserve this, come on. And I also let go of the city I was living in at that time in my 20s. I left Miami, which just was not serving me at the time. I had done a lot of modeling there, and I graduated from my bachelor's degree, and there just wasn't space for me there anymore to grow in what I wanted to grow. And I also had this feeling that I wasn't gonna meet my partner there, which was accurate. I met my husband in LA where I moved to. So just letting go of things that didn't serve me, that were not good for me. I wanna put things in me and put people in my surroundings that feed me, not bring me down. The fourth thing I did was really start to manage my mental health and take it very seriously. When I made this like shift in my life at this time in my late 20s, I got really serious about my spiritual practice, my yoga practice. After I had my babies, I did more work, therapy work, to treat things like postpartum depression, because it's not that you won't have challenges like mental health challenges or times of negativity, but it's about knowing when to pause and prioritize taking care of those things. For number 5, another thing that I did to level up and become the woman of my dreams was prioritize my relationship with God. A lot of that was through meditation and yoga and prayer. I have a devotional practice every day in my morning routine, because the more you stay connected to your higher self, the more you are able to manifest the life that you want, because that God that lives inside of you, that's where all your desires come from in the first place. So the more attuned you are with that, the easier it is to live in alignment. For number 6, I really, and I've touched on this a little bit, during this time when I initially made this shift to really become this woman that I am today, and not to say who I was before 25 didn't help, right? I was still doing a lot of things like getting my bachelor's, working really hard, modeling, still praying, going to church, all those things. But I'm specifically speaking to this phase in my life where I consolidated all those things, great pieces of who I was, into my lifestyle. During this period, I really took a deep dive into Eastern philosophy and Western psychology to understand manifestation, to really hone in on the practical ways to implement spirituality and come up with a system to turn my dreams into reality, to come up with a way that I could rely on and keep coming back to when it came to attracting things that I wanted. I infused all of this information, so mindset strategies, manifestation techniques, proven psychological methods, all into the Mod Ambition Goal Planner, because I know it works. I've seen it in my own life and I see it in my clients' lives, and this was a direct result of that whole phase in my life where I was studying meticulously Eastern philosophy. I've read countless books. I have my yoga training, my meditation training was a big part of that, but I also have a PhD in psychology, so that was mindset training on steroids, as well as I have a master's in clinical psychology. So really just learning about it all really helped me not only help other people, but to apply it into my own life and a lifestyle, and then to infuse it into practical tools like the planner I created, the Mod Ambition Planner. And then the last thing that I would say that I really did to become the woman of my dreams is become more organized. And this is something that's very practical, but it's very real and helping me navigate and practically be this woman of my dreams in my everyday life. So I've always used a paper planner. There was a gap in period of time where I stopped doing it after, I think after my master's, and I restarted in my PhD program, and the difference in my life is like crazy. Just by stopping, keeping everything in my head and putting it down on paper, as well as having a digital system, using a hybrid system, that really helps me stay on top of things, have it all, have my ish together, because I'm not keeping it all in my head. Again, one of the main reasons why I created the Mod Ambition Planner was because I wanted a practical tool that could help me. I didn't really like a lot of the other planners out there that were kind of corny aesthetic wise, or florally, or just too complicated down the planner rabbit hole. I wanted something that implemented all the strategies I was using with my clients. Another thing that's really helped me in the day-to-day to being this woman of my dreams is I've really adopted the philosophy of being more organized in my day-to-day life, and being intentional about the spaces around me has helped me not get overstimulated so much and be able to continue to hustle in a sustainable way, really getting organized, not having everything in my head, using a paper planner, living by the tenet that cleanliness is godliness, creating functional spaces. That has also helped me as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Cheers to planning, manifesting, and enjoying your dream life. And until next time, namaste.